The LA Clippers are 0-5 since signing Russell Westbrook. And I'm sorry to say, but that's not a coincidence. The Clippers went from a team closing in on the 3rd seed to now being at 500 and in a complete playoff dogfight after signing Russ. The thing is that Russ individually has not played bad since he got to the Clippers, but it's clear that with him, the Clippers won't be winning anything anytime soon. Let's talk about it. Although the Clippers are 0-5 with Russ so far, his individual statistics have actually been pretty impressive. 17 points per game, 9 assists, 1.5 steals, shooting 53% from the field is nothing to scoff at. But the issues that Russ brings to the Clippers run much deeper than just his individual production. Russ does not fit the Clippers at all, especially not as a starter. The Clippers have 2 primary ball handlers in Kawhi and PG, and that means that Russ is going to have to play off the ball a lot more. And that's something that he's never been able to do successfully in his career, other than in Houston with James Harden, and he was the 2nd guy off the ball, not the 3rd guy. And especially at this stage in his career, he hasn't developed a 3-point shot or really any redeeming other off-ball qualities. His lack of a 3-ball frankly makes him quite useless off the ball. Everybody saw what the Warriors did to him a few nights ago. It rendered him pretty useless, and it kind of broke the game for the Clippers. And that's going to be what you're going to be seeing a lot more frequently from that team if they don't sort something out with Russ and fast. Well, you might be asking, if he doesn't work off ball, why not put him on the ball? Well, that's because he's not good enough to be on the ball like that anymore in his career, especially not on this roster when they have Kawhi and PG. It's not going to work. Russ at this point in his career is just not talented enough to be on the ball at this frequent of a level. He turns the ball over too much still and is prone to slip-ups in key moments of the game. We saw what he did last night against Sacramento, and he's slipped up against Sacramento twice now, kind of leaving one of his other guys open in that massive 170 game. He's prone to some key slip-ups in moments that really cannot happen, especially if you're a team like the Clippers who is this serious about contending. And he really doesn't bring enough on the ball for him to consistently have the ball in his hands anymore. His finishing around the rim is still pretty good, but sometimes he misses easy lays. His shooting is inconsistent. Of course, it's been inconsistent his whole life. His mid-range shooting is also inconsistent, and he's an above-average playmaker, but he needs the ball in his hands quite a lot for him to be effective there. There's just other guys on the Clippers that can do what he can do a bit better. So for how good Russ is right now, he doesn't warrant having the ball in his hands this much anymore. If it was OKC Russ maybe a few years ago, you'd live with him making some of these mistakes in the clutch time and have him have the ball in his hands, but not with the current roster around the Clippers. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work. And on the other side of the ball, Russ is not as good of a defender as Clippers fans would probably hope. I would say Russ is still an above-average defender, but he's prone to some key mistakes on that side of the ball. Although he averages 1.5 steals, don't let that make you think that he's some unbelievably elite defender. He's not. He's prone to sleeping off the ball, as we've seen so many times throughout his career, and he showed that in literally his first game with the Clippers against the Kings in that double overtime thriller. And semi-frequently, he just lets his man just walk right past him. But I mean, he is getting a bit older, so you have to give him some slack, but the Clippers just can't afford this now with how long they've been trying this Kawhi and PG experiment. For the Clippers, it's really kinda now or never. Honestly, the Clippers had better options on their own roster before they went out and got Russ. The buyout really was not necessary at all. Terrence Mann, who was starting at point guard for the Clippers before they acquired Russ, was doing a fantastic job. And you saw a pretty direct correlation with the Clippers winning games once Terrence was inserted into the starting lineup. And he complements your stars really well. He doesn't need to have the ball in his hands too much. He can hit a wide open 3, he can get to the bucket, and he can play make even if you need to. He's really the perfect point guard for complementing your stars. And the Clippers also just picked up Bones Highland like a week before acquiring Russ, so it really made no sense. They're clogged up in the point guard positions, and Bones has the potential to be really, really good in the future with his shot-making ability. And now him and Terrence Mann are essentially relegated to a bench position. Bones is picking up DNPs, and Terrence's impact is getting even lessened because Russ is taking up majority of the point guard minutes. In my opinion, it's really a disaster. The funny thing is that the Clippers are sacrificing short-term success with an older Russ when they have players that are younger and better that they can develop. So that success for the short term is not even as successful as it would be if you had your younger players developing and in your lineup. It really makes no sense. PG pressured the organization into going after Russ, and right now it looks like a grave mistake. Back on the Lakers, I thought people were actually too hard on Russ, and for the most part they were. But that situation was never set up for Russ to succeed. With the other two major stars they had on that team, it was never going to work. And funnily enough, the Clippers have just completely ignored that Lakers situation and done the exact same thing this year. And they expect different results. It makes no sense. For Russ to be at his most successful, he needs the entire keys. Every single household key, he needs it. And this is when we've seen him at his best for his whole career. Unfortunately, the Clippers cannot give him the keys, and even if they could, they would not be as successful as they should be. And if the Clippers want to win anything legit in the future, make any sort of championship run, it's going to have to be without Russell Westbrook. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more consistent NBA content talking about everything there is to talk about in the NBA, then this is the place for you. I try to take a look at some of these more trending topics in the NBA with a more critical point of view. So if that interests you, consider hitting a like and a sub. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.